Welcome to the session. In this session, we are going to continue the concept of list. We have a few concepts regarding list. Let us see. Here I have a list of odd. That means it contains some values 2, 4, 6, 8. So I want to change the first list. That means I want to change the position 1. So this is the position 0, 1, 2, 3 we have. I want to change this 0 index in this list. You can change that means odd of 0 equals to 1. That means you are replaced the position 0 with 1. Next, like that, we have one more thing. By using a slicing operator also you can change. So you have values 1 to 4. That means 1 slice 4. You have changed 0 with 1. Your original list is 2, 4, 6, 8. This is your original list. You have changed this value by using an odd of 0. Odd of 0, that is 1. 0 equals to 1. You have changed this single value. If you want to change multiple values, I want to change these 3 multiple values at a time. You have a slicing operator. What is the position of 2? 0, 4 is 1, here it is 2 and 3. And what is the name of the list? Odd. You simply write odd of 1 colon. So here it is 3. That means you have to write for up to 4. 1 colon 4. That means 3, 5, 7, which is equals to 3, 5, 7. If you write it like this, it changes the position. 4 is replaced with 3, 6 is replaced with 5, 8 is replaced with 7. Values are changed like this. So this is the slicing operator used to change the values in the list. Next one. The second data structure in Python programming. This is also a built-in data type. That is nothing but tuple. What is a tuple? We have already seen tuple is a collection of objects which are ordered and immutable, which is nothing but, so there is an indexing available in the tuple. For list, what is the indexing? We are already seeing A, B, C is like this. What is the indexing? This is 0 and 1 and 2. You represent list with square brackets. Like that, you have a tuple represents with parentheses, curved brackets. This also contains values A, B, C, and it is ordered, and it also contains indexing 0, 1, 2, like this. And what is the change between these two is that once list is created, you can perform any changes in that list. That means adding of new values, deleting of old values, everything you can do. But in tuple it's not like that. Once tuple is created, you can't perform any changes in that. You can't do any changes in that tuple. Okay, let us see here. I have a tuple 1 that contains, you represent tuples in parentheses, that means curved braces like this. It contains physics, chemistry and something data, and also it is you can see tuple contains different data types. This is a string and this is a integer. It allows multiple data types. And also I have one more tuple which contains some information. Okay. First, if I want to access the information in the tuple, how you have a for example, I have a tuple 1. If you write tuple 1 of 0, it returns the value physics. What is the index of physics? 0, chemistry is 1, and this is 2, and this is 3. If you want any value in that tuple, you can access with that index number. And also you can see here I use slicing operator. Here I'm just using tuple 2 of 1 colon 5. What is tuple 2? This is tuple 2. Here 1 colon 5 is, let us write the index first. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. What is 1? This is 1. This is index 1. And 5 is nothing but, this is the 5. So it prints values 2, 3, 4, 5 only, not 6. So it prints the before index only. Okay? So you can access like this. And tuples also allows the negative indexing. If you have a tuple like 1, 2, 3, you can represent positive indexing 1, 2, 0, 1, 2 and negative indexing -1, -2, -3. Print tuple 1 of -1. What is tuple 1? This is tuple 1. -1 means this is the -1, -1, -2, -3, -4 like this. That means the output of for this is 2000. This is how to create a tuple and how to access information from the tuple. Next. Here we have a doubt, single valued tuple. For example, I have a tuple. Tuple, how can you represent tuple? Tuple with parenthesis. I have information 50. This is the tuple. I have a value. You are represented with parentheses and all those things, but we are not called this as a tuple. You call this as a variable. Variable is created like a equals to 10, b equals to 20. How you can write this? Also treat like this. This is not a tuple data structure. If your tuple having a single item, in this example, my tuple having a single value. If it is like this, you must use comma after that value. Otherwise, it will treat as a variable, not a tuple data structure. Let us observe here. If I want to write tuple having single item, having single data, you must use comma after that. Then only it consider, then only it treat as a tuple data structure. Otherwise, it is a variable. If your tuple doesn't having any content, that means empty tuple, you simply write tuple 1 is equals to empty. No problem with that. So if your tuple having a single value, you must use comma. Next one, delete tuple. We already discussed it. It's not possible to update, it's not possible to perform any changes in tuple. Once I created a tuple, this tuple contains elements 1, 2, 3. Once you created the tuple, you can't perform any changes. That means you can't update, you can't delete, you can't perform any alterations in the tuple. For example, that means removing individual tuple elements is not possible. Okay. Next, we have a del statement. For example, you are not delete the individual data elements. That means you can't delete one individually, 2 or 3, or you can't insert new elements like that. But you have an option of del. What is del? It is nothing but delete. This deletes the entire tuple. You can delete the entire tuple. I created a tuple TUP1 of 1, 2, 3. If I don't want that tuple, you simply perform del tuple 1 like this. It simply removes this entire tuple, not individually, but you can't individually remove the items individually. Okay, next. So here example, I have a physics, chemistry and something, and print tuple. It prints the values as it is. After that, I performed the deletion operation. After deletion operation, when I print that same tuple, we don't have that tuple exist in your memory. Next, concatenation. What is concatenation? We already seen concatenation in strings. Here, concatenation between tuples also exists. For example, if you have a multiple tuples, tuple 1 which is equals to 1, 2, 3 and tuple 2 equals to 4, 5, 6. If you have like this, if you concatenate, that means if you perform this plus symbol, if just a new tuple is created which contains the values of both T1 and T2. That means your new tuple is 1, 2, 3 and also 4, 5, 6. This is the concatenation operation. We are not performed any changes. You are created a new tuple. Okay, you are not removed one or you are not removed anything, or you are not added to T1 or you are not added to T2. So we are not performing any operation, but you are simply concatenate these two by creating new tuple. That's all. Next one, repetition. For example, I have a tuple T1. I have a statement like T1 equals to hi, comma. You must use comma if you have a single item, data item in your tuple, comma. If I write star 4, what is star? Star says the multiplication. Okay, that means here in tuples you can treat it as a repetition. You are saying you have to repeat this item 4 times. That means your output is hi. That means 4 times the item is going to be repeated. Clear? So here you just use star 4. If you want 5, you can. This value is going to be repeat 5 times. Next one. Max. Max is a method which is used to find the maximum element in the tuple. For example, you can create, before going to discuss about max, you have a small thing here. Let us observe the syntax T1 comma T2. T1 comma T2. Here I am creating 2 tuples in a single line. So this T1 is going to be represent this tuple. That means this part. Next, this T2 going to be represent this tuple 4, 5, 6, this part. That means like a manner, first T1, if you have a variable T1, tuple T1, the first one is going to be T1 and the second one is T2. You can write statement like this also. For example, I want to find the maximum element in T1 and T2 is that, for example, if you take this one, what is that means if you take this one, tuple T1, what is the maximum element Z? That means that is a string, right? That is a string. So your output is Sarah. Next, max of tuple T2, your output is 700. First, it gives preference to strings, not a numeric, that means integers. Next, tuple length. If you want to find the length of the tuple, we already discussed the method len. Len is used to find the length of the tuple. Here let us see len of this tuple. Here I have a tuple name. This tuple, here pass it to the len. It just gives the length is 3. Clear? Constructor. If I want to create a tuple, you simply use T1 equals to 1, 2, 3 like this. Of course, if you want to create a tuple with the name of the constructor tuple, you can create tuple like this, and also you can create tuple T1 equals to tuple of, you have to write this one, 1, 2, 3. A new constructor is going to be created with this. Here you must use these double brackets. You must use double brackets, otherwise it's not possible to create a tuple. Next, this is the concept we have in tuples, and also one thing we miss. Here we have a min. Min is also a method which is used to find the minimum element in the tuple. If you write max of tuple 1, you can use min of tuple 1, which returns minimum element in the tuple. Next one, sets. We are discussed list, tuples, and this is the third data structure, sets. What is a set? Set is a collection of data which is not ordered, which is unordered data. And previously we have seen in list and tuples both are having a indexing. For example, if you take list L1, 1, 2, 3, or if you take tuple T1, 1, 2, 3, both having indexing. What is the index of 1? 0, 1 and 2. What is the index of T1? 0, sorry, you have to represent with parentheses, 0, 1, 2. This is tuple, okay? 0, 1, 2. And this is also having indexing 0, 1, 2, right? But in sets, we don't have any indexing. You don't have any indexing. So, how you can represent set is that S1 of, this is the braces we are going to use, curly braces going to be used to represent set. S1 of 1, 2, 3. This is a representation of list, this is the representation of tuple, and this is the representation of set. And here you can change values, you can add, you can delete, you can perform any values. Here, once you created it, you can't perform any add-ons. Next, here, the values you can access by its indexing. But means L1 of 0 means it returns 1. L1 of 1 means it returns 2. And here also you can access with the help of indexing. Okay? And T1 of 0 is 1, T1 of 1 is 2, like this. And here we have a third data structure as sets is here. S1, here we don't have any indexing like 0, 1, 2. And the data stored which is unordered, which is not stored in order. We don't have any particular order for sets. Okay? Data is stored somewhere like that only. Here, let us see. Here I am having a set. This set of apple, banana and cherry I am writing. And it also allows multiple data types. That means strings and everything you can write. Print this set. Like this you can use. Next, accessing item. Without indexing, how you can access item? For example, we have a for loop. This set for x in this set. What is this set? This set is nothing but the set what we have. Here for x in this set, print x. For the first time, what x contains? Apple, it prints apple. For the second time, banana, it prints banana. For the third time, it is cherry. So we know, we already discussed, with the indexing, you can't access the items. Okay, next one. Changing items. Like list, you can change the items or you can add the items in the sets. If you want to add a new item, that means, let us see here example. I have a set, this set, which contains apple, banana and cherry. I want to add a new item like orange. How you can add orange here? Let us see. Let us take first, what is the set name? What is the set name? This dot, this set dot add grape. If you add like this set is already exists, which contains 3 items. This item is going to be placed as a 4th item. Like this you can add items. Here I add orange. You can add orange like anything. Next, update. What is update? Let us see here. Here I have a set which contains items apple, banana and cherry. Next, I want to update that. I want to update that set. I want to update the set. How you can write this set dot update. This set dot update. I just use. You must use represent here. You are giving here a list. Observe this one. You are using here a list like orange, mango, grape. If you add like this list contains apple, banana and cherry, and these 3 items are additionally added. That means totally now set contains 6 items. This set contains totally 6 items. Like this, it's update. You can't say which item is the first, which item is the next. We don't have any particular index to each and every item. Those items are stored, that's all. Next one. Okay, next one, remove. What is remove? Remove is nothing but, if I want to remove any element, you simply use remove. I have a set that contains apple, banana and cherry. Apple, banana and cherry. If I want to remove banana in that set, you simply write this set dot remove banana. If you want to remove apple, this set dot remove apple. This set is the name of the set and remove is the method what you are going to use. After that, if you print, the output is apple and cherry. Like this it contains. Next, discard. Discard also done the same thing. If you want to remove any element, you can simply use discard. Discard banana. It removes banana in the set. It removes banana in the set. But if the item is to remove does not exist, discard will not raise any error. For example, if I want to remove, if I want to write a statement, this set dot discard grape. Discard grape. Let us observe the set. That set contains items apple, banana and cherry. That set doesn't contain grape. But I am writing a statement. this set of discard gray, but I want to remove the gray. That element is not there in the set. At this case, discard doesn't provide, it generates any error. It simply executes, that's all. But if you write a statement here, this set dot remove of grape. If you write statement like this, the set contains apple, banana and cherry. It doesn't contain any grape. At this case, remove, the system going to generate a error message. That is the only difference between discard and remove. Here, error message is generated if that element is not available in that set. Here, no error message is generated, it's simply discarded. Next, pop. Pop is also used to remove element, but it's not remove that particular element. If you write a statement, if I have a set apple, banana and cherry, if you write a statement, this set dot banana, this set dot pop, this set dot pop, if you write statement like this, it removes any one of the element in that set. It just removes the randomly elements and return that element. Return that element. It returns that element. What elements it removes. And that element is going to be stored in any other variable. After that, you have to print that variable and print that set, that element is going to be removed. For example, for the first time, it removes banana. What X contains? X contains banana, and this set contains apple and cherry only, because it popped the data. It contains only the values like this. Next, clear. What clear contains? For example, I have a set which contains elements like this. This set dot clear. It clears that means it just empty. It just makes the set empty. Make the set empty. It removes all the elements in the set. And next, delete. If you want to delete the set completely, in the previous case, clear, this set is emptified, not deleted. Empty set is there. Okay. Here in this case, the element, that means the set is going to be completely removed from your memory. This is not available for the next time. Here in the previous case, the set is available, but items are only cleared. Here, that set is completely removed. There is no particular memory allocation for that set. Okay, these are some of the methods in sets, and in next class we will discuss some more methods in sets. Thank you.